And welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on CBS that isn't about being fake friends. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge USA Season 2 Episode 3, and we got quite a bit to dive into. So let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Tori winning in the elimination against John A, coming back to the challenge house. And Tori is excited. She is back in that game. She is back on her blue team. The blue team is ecstatic. But then things take a swift turn from jubilation to calling people out, where Tori calls out Amanda for going after vets, when Tori feels like maybe we could have seen eye to eye because of the situation in the house, that the vets really do need to stick together. And Amanda's saying, what did you expect? We came here not being friends. I'm not in here to just be fake pals with you just because of a game situation. We didn't like each other coming into this game, and we still don't like each other. So why are you getting frustrated with me? While they're having this argument, we move to the other room, which can hear everything, and we see Michelle, Tiffany, Chanel, Michaela, Desi. They're all happy. We even hear from Desi, everybody who's basically working with each other from their room and who's also acquaintances with their room. They're going to be a very, very tough alliance to crack, I believe. Now, we wake up the next morning and we still have the vets on high alert. We have Wes, Bananas, and Cory all working out in the gym area, and Bananas is trying to make sure that Wes and Cory and himself are all on the same page, that the vets desperately need to stick together. They need to collect all the numbers they can to try to survive and make it deep within this game, because right now the rookies are solidified, the rookies seem to be really clumped together, and they seem to be organized. It feels like Bananas and Wes are on the same page, and Cory is wavering a little bit. He's thinking back to his past history with the vets and how he's kind of always found himself on the bottom. If push comes to shove and people want to say his name, how likely is it that Bananas and Wes will stick their neck out for him? Then we move to a conversation between Tori and Paulie, where Paulie is being very vulnerable in this conversation as well as in the confessionals. He's talking about his sexuality as well as going to therapy, opening up about his past seasons, his past temperament, how this season is different, how he came into this season in a much better headspace. He feels way better, way more confident in himself and who he is as a person, which is leading to this person that is not like going up and just kind of getting in people's faces and being this bombastic kind of attitude towards everybody. I think it shows a sign of maturity and bravery on his part that he is able to take this time and kind of put it all out there for everybody and to show a different side of him that's not all this like alpha male that we have seen from his previous seasons, where he's trying to like make a space for himself when he now feels like he has made that space and has accepted himself, that he can be his true self to everybody in the house. I thought that was a very impactful moment on Paulie's part. Now, let's move to everybody donning their challenge gear, meeting up with TJ at a pier for another water daily challenge. This one is called Capsize. What teams are going to have to do is one team at a time will have to jump off of a very small pier, then have to swim to a boat, capsize it. On the bottom of the boat, there is a legend of how the flags need to be put on the sail of this boat. Then players are going to have to go one at a time, swimming to a buoy to then unlock the flags and then come back to the boat. They have to put the flags in order. The team that can get the most flags in the correct order in the quickest amount of time will win into power, win into safety, and for the vets, this is everything. I like this challenge because they have to guess how many flags they got correct. I mean, they're just going off of it. There's no checks. You just put the flags up there. Hopefully you're the most correct and you're the quickest. The first team up, and that is the red team. And they have a pretty good strategy here. They have Paulie, Michelle, and Josh as the main memorizers. And then Bananas will be the lone person in the boat to then put the flags in there. You don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. The problem with it is that Michelle, who becomes the like sole memorizer, starts to overthink and think that she made a mistake on the order of the flags. So they have to take some time to capsize the boat once or two more times than maybe they needed to if they would have had the flags on lock. they have to capsize the boat a couple of times, and it greatly adds to their time. The second team up is the blue team, and not only are they confident, but they do it in style. Some people are flipping off the pier, doing backflips, dives. They are so efficient in not only swimming to get the flags, but also in the way they're memorizing the flags, because they break up their answer key into certain blocks, and then there's 2 people on each block. No one person deemed with the unbearable task of having to memorize majority or all of the answer key at once. Instead, it's 2 people on 4 flags, another 2 people on 4 flags, and so on and so forth until everybody knows all the flags, and they are super quick, it feels like. The green team is really bad at this. I mean, I thought that the green team looked really strong, but they struggle at this particular daily challenge. From the Challenge Official podcast and the Bananas podcast, both mentioned how this was such a difficult daily challenge. How cold the water is, from the current, from the swimming, from the capsizing of the boat. I mean, green team was struggling through it all. And apparently from the Challenge Official podcast, both Tori and Paulie said that the green team took like over 50 minutes. At a certain point, everybody was just hoping that they would just finish and get it over with, because they just were dragging out a ton of time. So needless to say, the green team did not win. This comes down to the red team and the blue team, who got all 20 flags correct, but it comes down to time where the blue team, with their efficient strategy, was able to get this win. The blue team is happy. I'm sure the red team is also thinking, okay, we saw what happened last week with Tori, John A. Now, the week prior, the blue team and the red team had an alliance. Will that alliance stick together here? Well, if you ask Alyssa L, she is saying, no way. Alyssa L is frustrated that when the blue team won the first time, her voice was kind of squelched underneath everybody else's, and she does not want that happening today. So she goes directly to Cory because he's part of the blue team, and maybe she finds that maybe Cory is wavering between the vets and playing with the rookies. So she jumps on that opportunity. You're always at the bottom of the vets. Let's make an agreement. And Cory shakes her hand saying, okay, maybe he wasn't like shaking her hand being like, I'm definitely going to vote for Bananas, but he's not going to get in the way and like protest too much at the nominations, really push for like Monty or something. We go to the nominations where Alyssa L takes the lead and basically puts her foot down saying like, we need to swing big. I think we should put in Bananas and Amanda. Tori tries to do a little pushback saying, I'm not going to target any of the vets. I'm not going to do that. Cory did try to stir the pot a little bit at the nominations because he tried to set it up being like, hey, Tori, I'm sure you want to say Amanda's name in this moment, kind of hearkening back to last week or episode 2, where Amanda was quick to say Tori's name, but Tori was like, no, I'm totally cool with not saying Amanda's name, which kind of shocks Cory and kind of shocked myself. Alyssa L is like, all right, enough conversations, enough. Let's just get to the votes. We're seeing how the votes are playing out. 1 Michelle from Fessel, 2 Monty, 1 Desi, 2 Tiffany, 4 Bananas, or 5 Bananas, and 3 Amanda's. So Cory is the last one to say 2 names. And at this point, Bananas is going in regardless. So Cory kind of puts up his hands and goes, all right, well, let's just go for it. Bananas and Amanda. Locking in the 2 vets, 1 from the green and 1 for the red. Now this disappoints Tori quite a bit as she feels like that's it. I can't even trust the people on my own team. With Fessel saying Bananas' name and Cory saying Bananas' names, they're rogue. They've gone rogue. Now, after the nominations, Tori goes straight from the nomination table to the vets, aka West, Bananas, and Amanda, to give them the lowdown of how the votes came out and basically throws Cory and Fessel under the bus. Cory comes in. Cory needs a throat lozenge. He can't even defend himself because he can't even speak. But Bananas is just going ham on him. How dare you? You're full of crap. You come in here saying that, oh, we were outnumbered, but you turned your back on us, and now you're gonna side with people you just met instead of hanging out with us, people that you've known for years, played years with, have this history with, and then after kind of going after Cory, he moves to the other room and comes after Fessel, which come on. Come on, we all knew that Fessel was going to vote for Bananas at some point. It just happened sooner rather than later. How Fessel felt at the end of 38 after he got eliminated right before the finals because of Bananas, you knew it was going to happen. If anything, it's a little bit more shocking that Cory kind of fell into line to send Bananas in, but then again, they have their own history. I think Cory is kind of frustrated. He's been away from the game for so long, and now he has his opportunity, and he doesn't want to get sandbagged by being one of the only 2 vets to stick away from their team. And then what happens at the next elimination ceremony or nominations when he has nobody to fall back on, or people are not ready to like save him? But we don't know exactly how this is going to work out, if this is beneficial to either Cory and Fessel's game, until we see more episodes. But right now, they're trying to save their own hide. They're trying to take out a strong vet, and maybe at the end of the day, Cory can use this to maybe gather more people on his side, more of the rookies on their side, when factions start to break up in the rookie alliance. And I feel like that time could come. Now, we do see Bananas in the kitchen trying to elicit some sympathy, some empathy from everybody, kind of going over how he's never going to make it to the end of the game if he keeps on getting sent in over and over again. He's public enemy number 1. He's done this over and over and over again. And it's a vulnerable moment from Bananas that we haven't really seen too often. Like, of course, we've seen him on seasons being targeted early and possibly being sent into elimination and being public enemy number 1, but I've never seen him really have this moment before where he's in the kitchen just kind of going off about how unfair it is. But again, it's the gameplay. Yes, you're outnumbered, but this is also the game. You said you are the challenge, and now you have to prove to everybody why you're deeming yourself the challenge, why you're saying that, oh, I'm the challenger that keeps everybody up at night. This is your moment to prove it instead of being in the kitchen kind of complaining about it. One thing that I also found interesting was during Bananas' monologue in the kitchen, he says that his closest allies in the house are Dusty and Pauly. Like, what is happening in this game, which I actually thought was really, really funny. We move to the next morning where we see Desi, Michaela, and Lewis talking about who to vote in and hoping to ensure that Bananas is going into elimination and hopefully be eliminated. Desi wants to vote in Pauly because she feels he has the best opportunity to win against him and send him home. Lewis also thinks Josh could do it. So Green is under the assumption that we should just vote in Pauly and Josh. In the red team meeting, plus Amanda for some reason, which I thought was really, really funny way of edit and how they revealed that Amanda was also in the red meeting, they're trying to figure out who to vote to send in against Bananas, because at this point, everybody is voting for a man to ensure that Bananas is going into elimination. So Bananas is thinking, okay, either Tyler or Monty on the green team. I don't want to go up against anybody on the red team. I want to keep us red strong. And then if we can take out a pretty serious threat in Monty or Tyler to hinder the green team, that would be the best option for us. So we get down to the voting and people are going back and forth voting for Josh, Pauly, Monty, as well as Tyler. With everyone who had voted in the secret vote, everybody dons their challenge gear, or at least the green team and the red team don their challenge gear, meet up with TJ at the arena where he calls down Amanda and Bananas to join him on the arena floor, and he shows who got votes and how many votes they all got. Josh got 2, Tyler got 3, Chanel got 1, Pauly got 3, and Monty got 5. That one rogue Chanel vote, Amanda could be going into an elimination. TJ does the hopper, pulls a ball, and tells Bananas that he's going to be playing in this week's elimination, or this episode's elimination, and sends Amanda back to the green team. Then TJ makes the announcement that the name on the ball is Pauly. So for this week's episode, we have Bananas versus Pauly, a rivalry that we have seen for quite some time, but now that they're actually turning friends, we actually get them back into an elimination. We haven't seen them in elimination against each other since Final Reckoning, and mentioning that elimination, this one is somewhat similar. Now, this episode's elimination is called Fire and Ice. Now, in this elimination, the competitors will be staying on giant ice blocks, holding up their hands that are tethered to a bucket of fish guts. You just want to hold your hand up as long as you can, because if you drop your hand, those fish guts are going on you and you're going home stinky on an airplane back home. Now, to add to this elimination, they gave these competitors beanbags to throw at a target that will then ignite like blowtorches underneath your opponent's ice while also turning the blowtorches under your ice off. Now, I have to say that this was an intriguing elimination on paper, but after a while, it kind of got stale a bit. I do have to say I am impressed with how well and how accurate both Bananas and Pauly were throwing these beanbags. The edit made it look like they hadn't missed a beanbag at all. They were just going back and forth. Now, the edit is a little wonky because listening to the Challenge Official podcast and the Bananas podcast, apparently Pauly was out of beanbags well before Bananas was. So in the edit to the episode, it made it seem like Bananas was out of beanbags, Pauly had one left, threw it and missed it, and that was his downfall. Apparently, what actually happened was that Pauly was out of beanbags for a while and Bananas had 3 beanbags. So at the end of the day, Pauly was most likely going to have his blowtorches on the whole time regardless. Once all beanbags were thrown, we just had them standing with their arms up in the air. Now, we know from Final Reckoning that Bananas can hold at least both hands up over his head for a really long time. But also remember, that was like 6 to 7 seasons ago. That's like 3 years ago. It's been so long, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Like, Bananas was a much different, younger man back in those days. So at this point, the only thing Bananas has going for him is that the blowtorches underneath Pauly's ice are going strong. And eventually, it gets to Pauly because 38 minutes in, I have to say that is quite a while, but 38 minutes in, finally, Pauly's bucket dips. Maybe his arm dipped an inch too low with the amount of ice that had melted, and Pauly's bucket of fish guts just completely falls down on him and knocks him out of the game. Pauly is eliminated. Bananas finds an extra life in this game. Now, at the end of the elimination, we see Pauly and Bananas embrace, and Bananas compliments Pauly on how good of a competitor he is, which Pauly then gets emotional in the confessionals and also at the arena during this hug because that was the validation he wanted to hear from a challenger, from Bananas, who he wanted that validation of being like, you are a challenger, you are accepted in this world. So that was the validation he needed. Also on the Challenge Official podcast, Pauly said he got emotional because pretty much everybody in the house came down to hug him, and he felt like this is the first time ever that people are actually sad for him to leave. Now, to end this episode on a cliffhanger, DJ looks to Bananas and says, would you like to change teams? Would you like to defect and either go to the blue team or the green team, and then you have to pick a guy to swap teams with? And Bananas has that grin on his face. He's getting ready to say a speech, which makes me believe on Sunday's episode that we're actually going to see maybe Bananas swap teams with somebody. I have a feeling. I feel like now that the red team has lost both John A. and Pauly, 2 numbers that Bananas could have looked out for or have on his team, now with the red team only having 6 members and the other teams having 7, 8, and having wins where the red team doesn't have wins and they're losing people. And how can you win when you're losing people? I just feel like it's a no-brainer for Bananas to swap teams. But which team? Let me know in the comment section below. What team do you think Bananas will choose to go to if he decides to swap teams? What do you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think about Cory and Fessel's decision to then vote in Vets, aka Bananas and Amanda, into elimination? Well, Fessel voted in Michelle, but what do you think about their decision to turn their backs on the Vets and go with the rookies? Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea? What do you think about Pauly on this season? Would you like to see him on future seasons of the game? As well as, what do you think about this elimination? What do you think about the daily challenge? And who do you think could be next to be eliminated? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge USA 2 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.